Hey everybody, it's Ben. Go Ben. Karen's lurking, and we're doing live coverage of Dina Belenkaya's tournament in Charlotte. It's lots of GMs and IMs and WGMs and WIMs and FMs and even untitled players. It's a Swiss norm tournament, so it should be 9 rounds. And the game started about 8 minutes ago. They're having a delay, but we're trying to work around the delay because we have the live board, as you can see, and we're also streaming this on 2 different channels. This is being streamed on Dina's channel and on my channel, and I can actually see both chats. Although it's going to be tougher to type in my chat because it's another computer, but I'll figure it out. Okay, I just moved the keyboard over. So unlike a lot of live coverages of these Grandmaster events, Dina asked me to do the coverage for her channel and for mine for her games. We may also look at some other games, but that's not clear yet. Dina's paired down in the first round. Dina's rating is 2322 FIDE, and her opponent's rating, I believe, is 2071 FIDE. And Dina has the white pieces, and they've played a unusual Sicilian. So let's go back. Let's see if things that I do work. White played E4 on move 1. Okay, it's working. Hooray. And then C5. And in this position where white typically either plays D4, which is the open Sicilian, or bishop B5 check. Dina played bishop C4, which is also a move, not as common. Knight F6, D3, and after E6, Dina just played bishop B3. So what Dina's trying to do, since she's paired down, is take her opponent out of his Sicilian prep and just play sort of a slow maneuvering game where she can outplay her opponent and not have her opponent play 20 free moves in the opening. And this seems to be working because her opponent is already thinking for quite a long time on this move. Okay, and he just castled. And this tournament has a lot of strong players like Bortnik and Naroditsky and so forth. On chess.com, there's actually a list of the pairings and the standings. And based on what I can see visually, this is board 14. So Dina is the 14th highest rated player, and so forth. That's right, tensor extension. Well said. Also, in very strange coincidence, I haven't streamed in like 13 days because Karen and I were in Las Vegas. And the stream I'm coming back on my channel is confusing the audience because it's not my typical stream. I'm doing live coverage of an event that Dina's playing in. And we can see the live coverage of her board. The position on the left, that's the big position. I can make moves on that board. The live position has a 15-minute delay, so there's no moves on that board. Then you can see me. I'm next to the board. Then you can see Dina's game. So there's a lot going on that you can look at visually. And speaking of looking at something visually, Karen will be joining us later, and she'll give her insights into the game and so forth. And possibly she'll be giving some insights into her World Series of Poker. I may or may not cover other boards that might not be conducive to what we're doing. We're trying to look at Dina's games. Okay, so after bishop b3, just looking at the live board, I can see that black's played a6 and bishop e7 and castles, although I'm not 100% certain of the move order, of course. So that's unfortunate. I should have been paying more attention to the move order, although I can get to the right position. and I could guess the move order, so that's good. I'm going to guess bishop to e7 because you got to guess something, and then Dina's played c3 and castles, so we'll play castles, c3, a6. This is the current board position. Actually, no, Dina's made a move. It looks like she's played d4. Just looking at the live board. So it's possible that these were the actual move orders. That's crazy. I'm watching on my phone. Yeah, that's a tough one. And I'll be looking at both chats. I'm looking at Dina's chat as well as my chat. My chat should be sillier. Dina's chat will probably be more serious, and so forth. So we're pretty much out of theory here, and I prefer White's position myself. Yeah, this looks like a good position for White. White has a nice center. White's castled. You know, I think White's already played rook e1.
You're the best
since the pawn
commentator
on e4 is hanging now. So let me go back. I'm trying to look at the live board, but I'm not. My vision isn't the best. It seems like if White's played rook e1 and d4, that I'm missing a move for Black, where I don't see what it is on their board. If somebody in one of the chats can give me an opinion, I mean, it looks to me like White's pawn's on d4, but of course that means that Black made a move, and I don't see the move Black made. Although somebody is claiming they don't think White played d4, they think White just played rook e1. The pawn is on d3. Okay. Yeah, I'm imagining it's on d4. Okay. So slow, steady build up. Rook e1 was played, not d4, because d4 blunders a pawn. So we will promote, and we'll delete the d4 variation. Okay, that was easy. It looks like Dina's trying to remember her prep, or she's wondering if the broadcast is working. It's one of them. And Dina's paired down. Dina's over 2,300 FIDE, and her opponent is 2,071 FIDE. It looks like he played b5. So I'm going to play b5 because it looks like he did. Let's see, now I have the classroom up, and I need to get another thing up. Let me go to events, because some moves should be showing up now on the live board, which is 15-minute delayed, of course. Confusing the audience. Let's see, events. Why don't I see the Charlotte thing under events? There's too many events. I'm an old man. You can't be giving me this many events and tell me to find one of them. Let's see. In my chat, they're talking about my chessable course. That's not really related to the stream. Some tournament in North Carolina. That is correct. It's down there. Okay, I have the game under events and in classroom. The events one is still on a delay and doesn't have the moves. Dina's playing very quickly. If I look away for a minute, then she's made a move, and it's always her opponent's move. This looks like she played d4, but again, I imagined it the last time. Yay, thanks for giving Dina 5 subs, the original black pepper. Okay, and the live board, which has a 15-minute delay, is now showing moves. And the other board that I'm trying to have the current position, we can make moves and analyze variations if you guys have a question. Okay, black played bishop to b7. Very reasonable. And Dina's clock is running for the first time since I've been looking at the video. It's Karen chess. Go Karen. And we have a hype train going on Dina's channel. Once again, Dina's playing very quickly. Her e-pawn is attacked on e4. So the two moves that make some sense are knight bd2 and e5. Typically, you don't want to play e5 when your pawns are on e4 and d4 controlling the center. That would just put white's pawns under pressure. So I like knight bd2, which is what Dina played. I must say both players are playing very quickly. Black has some space on the queen side. White has nice space in the center. Sort of out of both players' preparation, I would say. Dina looks like she's ready to do some boxing in case it comes to that. Not sure her opponent would agree. Dina has the experience. Dina's not really dressed for boxing, but you know, that's okay. Hey, you guys in my chat and in Dina's chat, can you both hear me well? Usually we have technical difficulties, but we have a producer and it seems like he's fixed all the problems. We don't have any difficulties. Everything is great. Go Ben. Okay. Dina's opponent's rating is, I think, 2,071 FIDE. Guess I can make this bigger. Okay, now it's super big. So I got my chat to my left, which is probably your right, and Dina's chat is on my right, which is probably your left. Okay, it looks like he played knight bd7. So we'll do that. And black has completed development and has some space on the queen side, pretty solid. So the question is does white have opportunity to play knight f1 to g3 so the bishop can get out without hanging this pawn on e4? So it's possible Dina's going to play bishop c2, defending her e-pawn, so her knight can come around to g3. It's also possible Dina's going to fight. Oh, the original Black Pepper gifted subs on my channel. Everybody's gifting subs on both channels. Well, basically one person is. Okay, and then a4 is another move, so white can gain some space on the queen side. If white doesn't want to have the pawns attacking each other, white can play a3. But typically, white wants to move the knight around to g3 so that the bishop on c1 can get out and white can start a kingside attack. But again, the e4 pawn is under some pressure here. So Dina's probably thinking, should I play bishop c2? Should I play a4? Should I play h3? Some slow move that doesn't do very much. And the question is, what's black going to do in the long run to thwart, white's great center here? And now we can see her opponent's name and rating, thanks to our producer, I guess. I'm not going to pronounce the name right, but I'm going to say Srikar Gangavarapu. So I'm close. I tried. Trying is the first step to failure. What's the deal with the bishop on c1? Okay, so Dina's having her first serious think this game. And again, I think the moves that she's thinking about seriously are bishop c2, a4. And to be frank, I don't see a lot of other moves. Typically, in Ruy Lopez positions, which this looks like for white, the difference is this pawn's not on e5. The bishop on b3 is quite good, so we don't want to play bishop c2 unless we're forced to. However, with these pawns on f7 and e6, it might make more sense to put the bishop on c2 and try to start some kind of kingside attack with the white minor pieces, with white eventually playing e5, opening up the diagonal for the bishop. I think both sides are happy with their position, since black has all his pieces out, castled, solid, not super aggressive position for black. White has a nice center, obviously. Yeah, knight f1 is what you want to play, but your e-pawn's hanging, which I've mentioned 3 or 4 times. That's why bishop c2 first, defending the pawn. Let's see what Dina's chat is more active than my chat. 2,000 FIDE is pretty strong. Yeah. 2,000 FIDE is high enough to make me run away from the chessboard. Wow. I would walk away. I wouldn't run away because I might fall. Sometimes when I'm doing coverage, we show an evaluation bar and sometimes we don't. It's nice if you guys think for yourself and have your own ideas. And a lot of people like the evaluation bar because more information is better. Okay, so Dina moved. I'm trying to see. Oh, she played e5. Wow, that surprises me. But it's one of the. See, e5 actually does something. So if you're going to play e5, typically I would expect a longer think, because e5 changes the nature of the position. Now, black can either take on e5 or play knight to d5. I don't think there's any other moves than that. But e5 surprises me. It does give away the d5 square. Dina wants to play bishop c2 and attack on the king side. And the knight has the e4 square, which is good for white also. So maybe instead of playing this long maneuvering game with knight f1 to g3, Dina's thinking after knight d5, my knight can just go to e4 and put pressure on the d6 pawn. But that's a very quick decision. That what I mean is Dina didn't think 10, 15 minutes and then play e5, because e5 makes the position a lot different. So very aggressive play from Dina very early, putting pressure on her opponent. Yeah, usually about half the people want the evaluation bar on and half want it off. So, whichever way we do it, people are going to complain. Thanks for the kudos and the sub from Sound Accord in my stream. I might miss some of the stuff in the comments because I'm looking at two different chats. I'm also trying to analyze the game. Okay, Dina gets up. She's too confident. You can see that's a live video of the tournament room. There's a lot of players in the tournament, a lot of people going for norms. If you want to get a norm in the US, Charlotte's one of the best places to get it. Yeah, 2322 is Dina's FIDE rating, as somebody asked in my chat. That's correct. So Streetcar's just thinking, which move does he desire? Knight d5 or d takes e5? And if he figures out which one he desires, he could write about it. He could say something like a streetcar named Desire. Something like that. You can see he's fidgeting in his chair because, it's pressure on him already. The game's getting quite interesting. And by playing quickly, Dina is showing great confidence, which when your opponent is so much higher rated than you, that doesn't make you feel good. Yeah, to become an IM, you need to have your FIDE rating at some point get to 2,400. So she wants to get an IM or a GM norm this tournament, and so forth. That's right, Callan. You only have to get the rating at one point in your life, if not when you get your norms. That's right. One of the players in this tournament, Gauri Shankar, who has a very popular Twitch channel, he has 6 or 7 IM norms, but he's never been 2,400 FIDE. So he doesn't need norms. He needs his rating to go up. And I believe this is round 1, and it's a 9-round tournament. I'll be covering the evening rounds every day. So I'll be doing 4 or 5 rounds of the tournament, just like today. I won't be doing the morning rounds. Perhaps somebody else is doing that. It's 2 rounds a day. Time control is game 90 with a 30-second increment. See, now I agree with what Streetcar's doing here. This is a big decision. It changes the nature of the game, whether he moves his knight or takes on e5 right away. So he's contemplating the ifs, and he's trying to figure out which gives him a better chance. And I think when the black knight does go to d5, white's knight very soon thereafter, if not immediately, is going to go to e4. And I think that's why Dina played e5. She didn't want to play this slow maneuvering. She just wants to play knight e4 in one go. Makes sense. What year did you make GM? It was like 2009, at the end of 2009. Yeah, that was good. I had some cake. Yeah, this is the Charlotte Chess Spring GM IM Norm Invitational. There's actually 2 tournaments in Charlotte that are going to be back to back. I think one's round robin and this one is a Swiss. Although I could be wrong about that. I'm not wrong about this being a Swiss. This is a Swiss. There's also probably round robins afterwards. somebody in Dina's chat, who actually is giving a lot of subs and he's an important person, says Dina has 4 IM norms. So I guess Dina's just looking to get to 2,400. Now, Black, incorrectly in my opinion, but maybe I'm wrong, might decide my bishop's really, really good. I don't want to play knight d5 and block my bishop, so I'm going to play knight e8. Now, I don't agree with that, but maybe the engine does. I don't think I would take on e5 right away. I think I would play knight d5. Although, sort of like Srikar is doing, I would be thinking a long time here because it's an important decision. Oh, that was the last one? The invitational already happened. This is the Swiss. They got a nice setup there in Charlotte. You can see the board is sort of above the table there. And the clocks and the boards are electronic. The players get their own table, so they have tons of room. Nice event. Black is definitely okay here. But the question is he going to get in time trouble? And I've played this time control before many times. This is a time trouble you don't escape from. So if you're in time trouble, you don't get to move 40 and then have an hour more. When you're in time trouble, you're in time trouble the rest of the game. And you're just playing on increment. This is game 90, increment 30. So you don't really want to get in time trouble, on move 25 or 30, and then play the next 30 moves on increment. It happens, you just don't want it to happen. This time control is pretty quick. That looks like Fedorowicz's gut. I can't see his face, but that's Fedorowicz. He walks like Fedorowicz, looks like Fedorowicz, acts like Fedorowicz. I mean, I don't see his face, but that's Fedorowicz. Also, I know Fedorowicz is playing in the tournament. But yeah, he walks like him, acts like him, looks like him. I've known John Fedorowicz since before you were born. Tastes like Fedorowicz, smells like Fedorowicz, yeah. This time control is somewhat necessary if you want to have 2 rounds in a day. You don't want to have 2 6-hour games. I've done that. You want to have 2 3.5 4-hour games. That's acceptable. For some people, it's not. Thanks for subscribing to Dina's channel, Tom Riddle. Looks like Dina's looking at her engine there and her purse. She's getting her engine out. Oh, wait, that's not an engine. Darn. I guess on camera, she wouldn't be using an engine and asking me to do commentary live. Let's see, here we go, knight d5. What's she doing there? Is this some kind of snack? This is the most important thing in the game. Is she going to eat something? Okay, so knight d5 was played, which is what I expected. And I expect it's very likely Dina's going to play knight e4 or bishop c2. Now, she could also take on d6 and then play knight e4, attacking the bishop, gain a tempo. But knight e4 gains a tempo because it attacks the d6 pawn. So I think the three possible moves here are take on d6, knight e4, and bishop c2. And my money is on knight e4 first. My second most likely is take, and bishop c2 is third. I would be surprised if she played another move. Those are the moves that are logical to me. The live position, so we're cheating a little here on the coverage. We're giving you better coverage than live coverage. That's how we do it here. Okay. Dina said the live coverage has a delay and we can see the moves physically on the board. The camera doesn't have a delay. So I can look at the camera and make moves on the board, which is live. That's the most live with no delay. Okay, let's see if I'm right for once or if I'm never right. She acts like she's going to play knight e4. Yeah, I can tell by her hand. Okay, that's the move that I expected. Now Dina has a threat. D6 pawn's not sufficiently defended. So he either has to defend the pawn with something like queen c7 or queen b6, or more likely take on e5. Because even if he defends with the queen, Dina could still take and get the two bishops, which he may not want to part with. So it seems like it's almost forced for him to take on e5 to avoid giving up the two bishops. Unless I'm wrong, which is also likely. I've been wrong before. Dina's playing very quickly and very confidently. And she's putting pressure on her opponent. The last two moves, she's threatened things. She threatened the knight on f6, threatens the pawn on d6. So got to make decisions. Okay, he did take on e5, which I expected. If we didn't have a camera looking at Dina's game, then the live position, which is on a 15-minute delay, that's what we'd be looking at now. But we can actually look at the current position just because we have the camera. Okay, Dina took back with the pawn, which is what I expected. So White has two ideas here in the long term. One is to just attack like a maniac. So bishop c2, bishop g5, and or knight g5, queen h5, rawr, just attack. I'd hope that Black doesn't defend correctly or can't. The other idea is for White to trade dark squared bishops by playing bishop g5 relatively quickly. And then when the bishops are traded, White has this beautiful d6 square for the knight. Now, Dina could say, I don't really need to trade bishops. I can just play knight d6. And if nobody takes my knight, great, my knight's on d6. And if we trade on d6, I have the two bishops, the dark squares, and I have a passed pawn on d6. You could argue that pawn's weak and Black's going to win it. Or you could argue, no, it's not. I'm going to keep that pawn and it's strong. I probably wouldn't do that right away. That pawn looks like it could get captured. But I think White's bishop has done its job on b3. It doesn't seem like there's a future there. It seems like c2 is where it's at. So I'm expecting Dina to play bishop c2, possibly queen d3, bishop g5 or knight g5, and queen h5, and start attacking on the king side. And I guess I would rather have white here because, you know, if I'm attacking and defending, I'd rather be attacking. Now, what's wrong with Dina's position? Not much. You could argue the e5 pawn is weak since it's attacked once and defended once. So black could play something like queen c7, attacking the pawn again, and putting the question to Dina, what are you going to do about it? Dina could move her knight off of e4, so the rook defends it. She could sacrifice the pawn and start an attack against the black king. She could play bishop g5 with sort of a counterattack against the bishop. So queen c7 is a very logical move, attacking the e5 pawn, since the only thing in white's position that I think can reasonably be attacked is the e5 pawn. Otherwise, white's position looks pretty good. Knight on e4 is good. Bishop on c2 is going to be good. My pieces are, you know, aiming towards the king's side. So I like white's position, and I think black needs to get counterplay against the e5 pawn, probably by playing queen c7. See, a lot of players are walking around in the background. I don't think Dina's opponent has gotten up this game, unless he did and I missed it. And Dina's gotten up a couple times. Walk around a little bit, clear her head. My engine thermometer thing thinks that black is slightly better. And the only way black could ever be better here, I think, is by putting pressure on the e5 pawn. So I think queen c7 is probably the right move. Downtown Windsor YMCA 40 years ago. Wow. You remember stuff from 40 years ago? I remember around the corner, they had a sub place that I liked. It's a Canadian chain like Mr. Sub or something. I like those subs. You know, when I was a little kid. I got 2 evaluation bars, one for each of you. Yeah, so I'm looking at the evaluation bar at chess.com. I'm not sure how strong the computer is. It says Stockfish 15, depth 30. It's pretty strong. And it doesn't like e5 on move 11. It thinks that gives black a tiny advantage. And that's the move that was a critical move. This position, bishop c2 and h3 were considered a little bit better. But, you know, there's nothing, e5 is okay. It's just super aggressive. Putting pressure on your opponent has a lot of worth also, even if the engine doesn't like it. Giving your opponent difficult decisions to make has its own worth. And talking about getting subs in downtown Windsor 40 years ago, and chess. Yeah, if the producer wants to put the evaluation bar up, he can. That's beyond my understanding. I can't do anything. I can just sit here and be pretty, and I'm not good at that either. Also, I've been at the World Series of Poker the last 12 days, so I might make a mistake in evaluation and say that white raised with king queen off, and the white has the nuts and stuff. I might, you know, I could make some errors in analysis. Both players look reasonably happy with their positions. Now, it's possible that with the cameras on and the game being streamed and everybody watching, that black is more nervous than white because Dina's used to that. Dina's professional. She's on camera a lot. She has her stream. Her games are shown. And maybe black isn't used to that. Now, I'm not a big fan of the move c4 because white wants to play bishop c2 anyway. So the only reason to play c4 is black is trying to get access to the c5 square. Because I think white wants to play bishop c2. So c4 is not the first move I would have thought of unless I thought it was really good to play knight c5. And if that is really good, then okay. Yeah, the evaluation bar has moved from 0.3 for black to equal. So it doesn't like c4 either. c4 is explosive. Okay, and he did move. It looks like he played h6. So I'll play h6. I'm not a big fan of that move either. Now the evaluation bar says white is up 0.5, 0.4, 0.5. So one idea that Dina has, which I would be very seriously thinking about in a blitz game, is bishop to d2, queen c1, and then crush him on h6. And I don't want to talk out of school, but if I can make 3 moves in a row after bishop h6, white's just winning. That attack is too strong. My bishop's on c2. My knights are going to f6 and g5. No, you can't let me do that. So if I play bishop d2, queen c1, you got to figure out a way to not let me play bishop h6. It might be rook e8, bishop f8 with the bishop defending h6. It might be black can put pressure on e5 or e4 and stop white from doing that. Another thing white can do is white can play knight g3 and queen e2 with the idea of playing queen e4 later and knight h5 and start attacking that way. White doesn't really want to trade pieces. White has an initiative on the king side, so white wants to keep all the pieces on the board, and black can play knight c5 and try to trade pieces. It's also interesting for me, and I'm not playing, which is good because my flag would fall, is if white wants to play knight d6 at some point and get the 2 bishops. It seems risky to leave this pawn on d6, but it's risky for black to give up his dark square bishop when white's attacking on the king side. So white has a lot of possibilities here. White could play queen e2, bishop d2, knight d6, knight g3, and they all look very reasonable to me. One of the advantages of knight g3 is we defend our e-pawn and we get out of the way of our bishop. I'd like to play knight d4 and queen h5, but knight d4 seems to just hang my e-pawn. Dina's having a big think here, big decision time. Typically, chess organizers don't want less press. They want more. They want these games to be streamed. They want you to watch them at home. So if a streamer is showing up at a tournament with their camera and saying, I want to stream my games, organizers like that. They want their tournaments to be more well known in the public eye. And Dina's very popular, of course. She's has a lot of viewers on her channel. Somehow I have a lot of viewers. Oh, I know why. Am I on Chess TV? Oh, not yet. I'm supposed to be on Chess TV tonight. So I should get 2,000-3,000 viewers when the game is finishing. Dina's sitting very high up in her chair, very aggressive pose. Earlier in the game, her opponent was taller than she was. Now it's not clear. Now it looks like she's ready for chess boxing. Right. The World Open is run by Continental Chess, and they're not interested in publicity or getting more players or making chess better. They're a very strange organization. Newer organizers like Charlotte Chess Center obviously are more with it. As you can see, they're providing boards and pieces and clocks for the players, unlike the World Open. These questions you're asking are too complicated. I think people like to play when the game is shown live because their friends and family can watch. So I think Srikar's happy that the game is being shown, especially if he wins. I was told Canty is playing in this tournament. I can't prove it, but somebody told me that. So if you saw somebody in the background walking around that looked like Canty, probably it was him, since I was told he is playing in the tournament. The live position is with a delay. The other position is more live because I can see the camera. If Dina or her opponent ever think for 15 minutes on a move, we'll see the same position. This seems to be Dina's longest think of the game, which is good. Usually in the early middle game, you want to figure out what your long-term plan is, what your opponent's long-term plan is. You're obviously out of prep, etc. I like Queen E2 because at some point I'd like to play Queen E4. I can't play Queen D3 anymore. And I also like the fact that I'm like pre-defending my E5 pawn. I'm worried that Black's going to play Queen C7 and take it. It looks like our producer has put the evaluation bar on the board. So now you guys can complain about that. Half of you'll be like, finally, the evaluation bar's there. And the other half will be like, I don't want to see that. Why is that there? Etc. My son is also named Bortnik. That's why I got a Bortnik license plate. The live position isn't as live as the non-live position. The non-live position is more live. Now, when the game ends, if it ends, Dina's going to go to her hotel room and do a live interview for 5 or 10 minutes about her game, especially if she wins. I can ask her questions, and then she can tell me stuff I didn't know, and so forth. The position on the live board and the more live board are getting similar because Dina's thinking so long on this move. You can see Dina's eyes are looking towards the king side. Remember, if you checkmate your opponent, you win. So she's like, if I checkmate the guy, then I win. So that seems like a pretty reasonable idea. Okay, she did move. I'm trying to see where she moved. She did play bishop d2. Okay, so she wants to play queen c1, bishop h6, gg. And black is either going to play queen c7, attacking the e-pawn, knight c5, trying to trade knights, or rook e8 and bishop f8, defending the h-pawn. I don't see another idea. So if black does something else, that will be a surprise to me. Those are the three logical things I think black can do. No, black can't play king h7 to defend because white's bishop is on c2. So you don't want to put your king on h7. That would be risky. You'd be losing everything after knight everywhere check. Bishop d2 was like the first move I suggested because queen c1, bishop h6. That's some good attacking. Other thing white can do, which is more positional, is play queen e2, rook a d1, put the bishop back on c1, just so that I got out of the way of the white rook, and the white rook is on the open d line. Yeah, I think if black plays rook e8 to play bishop f8, then Dina probably won't play queen c1, because after bishop f8, then what do I do? Then she'll probably play queen e2, rook a d1. But black might play more aggressively and play queen c7 or knight c5 and make some immediate ideas. Dina's looking around the room trying to figure out who her next chess boxing opponent will be. And she gets up again. I don't think her opponent's gotten up once. She's still at the board, and there she goes. Dina has a big time advantage, 20-minute time advantage. If you're going to play too fast or too slow, if you have to pick one, play too fast. Playing too fast has advantages. Playing too slowly, that just leads to time trouble. Now, playing too fast is not a good idea, but it's better than playing too slow. If you're going to do one of the things wrong. Well, she's a big favorite to win because she's much higher rated than her opponent, and she has the white pieces, and she has a 25-minute time advantage. So she's a pretty big favorite to win the game. Yeah, you can go to the chess zone to play chess. It's in Roswell. That's the club we used to own, and we sold it to our friend. It's in Roswell, Georgia. It's called the Chess Zone. They have chess there almost every day. Okay, queen c7, attacking the pawn on e5, which I think is very, very reasonable. The engine says the position's equal. So the question is Dina going to sacrifice the pawn, which I don't really see a good way to sacrifice the pawn. Although, I mean, if I play knight takes, queen takes, I could play knight c5, attacking the queen and the bishop. Queen c7 seems like it's okay, though. So if she's not going to sacrifice the pawn, I think she has to play knight g3 because I don't see another move. Then the rook on e1 is defending the pawn. This gets out of the way of the bishop on c2. So queen e2 to e4 comes to mind. Knight h5 attacking. Then we could try for our queen c1 again. And we have knight attacking g7, the queen and bishop attacking h6. Okay, and she did play knight to g3, as I expected. So white wants to play queen c1, bishop h6 still. And white has defended her e5 pawn sufficiently. I don't see another way for white to have the pawn attacked. I don't see how these pieces are going to attack that pawn. So I think if it's white's turn to move, Dina's going to play queen c1 and bishop takes h6, pre-move. She'll play here and she'll pre-move that. And that is a winning attack. If I could play those two moves now, I would be winning. Now the engine says it's equal, and I don't want to allow bishop takes h6, especially with the knight on g3. The knight's coming to h5. Also, my bishop's on c2, so it's already made. So I'm guessing black should move the rook somewhere, either d8 or e8, and then play bishop f8. And frankly, I don't see another way for black to play to prevent queen c1, bishop h6. If it's the threat that I think it is, which that's what I think. I think if I play queen c1, bishop h6, I'm winning. So if you play rook e8 or rook d8 and then play bishop f8, that should be a sufficient defense. With the engine saying this is equal, I don't see another way for black to defend h6. And I think black has to defend h6. So I think if rook e8 or rook d8 is played, Dina's not going to play queen c1 because after bishop f8, there doesn't seem like a good follow-up. Then I think she'll play queen e2, rook a d1, knight h5, queen e4, h4, and play on the king's side and defend her e-pawn even more. The board is above the table. That's correct. There's a thing under the board. It's electronics. Well, if she sacrifices immediately and then plays like queen d2 or queen c1, king g7, I have knight h5 check. So actually, it's possible white could play bishop takes h6 immediately, then play queen d2. I don't know if it's good, but it's not impossible. I just assumed king g7 would defend, but now that the knight is on g3, knight h5 check. So yeah, let's see. If I play like Yasser, make a silly move, then I sack, rawr, and then play queen d2. Let's see. The engine says this is equal. In a blitz game, I take white all day. This is a very dangerous threat. I guess I have to move my rook and play knight f8, but then knight h5 wins. I don't see a defense for black, and the engine says it's equal. So that means the engine is better than me, or I'm better than the engine. Those are the options. I guess I could play f5 because I don't see another move. Let's play f5 and see what the evaluation does. It stayed at 0. I'm not as bad as everybody said I was. Yeah, that way I have rook f7. I'm blocking the bishop. If you take this, we're opening up squares for black's pieces. So I guess bishop h6 immediately isn't a threat. Black is still okay. But I mean, I think it's very serious to play queen c1 and bishop h6. Okay, he played rook f d8. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, now we can play either knight f8 or bishop f8, depending on the situation. If queen c1, definitely bishop f8. Yeah, I'll be commentating every evening round. So rounds 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, I guess. Although I'm not sure if it's 2 rounds a day every day after round 1, but we'll find out. When I came back from Vegas, our air conditioning in the main floor in our basement stopped working. So they're fixing that tomorrow. So I'm sort of hot because it's like 85 degrees outside all day, and we don't have air conditioning on the first floor of the basement. So I've been staying upstairs. We have a different air conditioning system upstairs where it's working okay. And then they're fixing it tomorrow. So by tomorrow night's round, we should have air here and I won't be hot anymore. That's why I brought an iced tea because it's pretty hot. Somehow it's rook a c8 on the board that I have rook f d8. Now I'm confused. That's definitely wrong. What I have rook f d8 on my board. How is it rook a c8 on what? How is this possible? Right, I played rook f d8 and I can see it on my board, and that's what you can see, and you see something else. So something's happening. The board on the left that has the players' names and ratings and times, I'm making the moves on that board, and I played rook f d8, and I see rook f d8 on my board, and I see rook a c8 on the other board, which is the same board. So maybe our producer's taken over and made the wrong move. That would be funny. Rook a c8's the hypothetical move you made? Yeah, but I got rid of that. Let me refresh. I know you didn't do anything. I'm going to refresh. Okay, I refreshed and it goes to rook. Yeah, that's terrible. Promote variation. All right, fixed. That's weird that it did that. All right, well, that'll teach me to analyze a variation. It's my fault. Danya 2 is playing in this tourney. That is correct. Now, as a special announcement, not related to this at all, except it sort of is a little. So I thought of it because of this. In Charlotte, they're having a big Thanksgiving tournament, which will have hundreds of players. You can play in it. It's an open tournament. And I will be the guest GM. So I'll be doing lectures and simul's and blitz chess and spinning around in a circle and autographs and selfies. So I'm going to be the guest GM Thanksgiving weekend at this site at Charlotte for their big tournament they're having Thanksgiving weekend. And yeah, 50-50, Dina's going to play in that. Also, I'm required to play in the Blitz tournament. No. Whoa, what happened? Wow, that was crazy what happened. Back to Rook AC8. Okay. Man, it's going crazy here. So I'm going to seriously say this is a chess.com glitch because I'm sitting here. I played Rook FD8. I promoted it. I deleted the other variation. And then bam, 2 minutes later, it goes back to that variation. So that doesn't make any sense. Time to refresh. So for the fourth time, I've deleted the Rook AC8 variation and played Rook FD8. Doesn't seem to matter. It keeps going back to the other one. No. Well, when Dina moves, maybe that'll fix it. I'll make Dina's move and then maybe it'll stop being stupid. Yeah, it could be there's an AI uprising also. This is definitely a chess.com glitch. It's just acting very strange. I'm gonna try to trick the system. I'm deleting some moves that happened earlier, and then I'm gonna put some more moves in. Having some technical difficulties, which is what happens when you stream. Okay. I took the last three moves back and then I added them in just to confuse the system. This is probably the longest thing Dina's had during the game. She wants to play Queen C1, but sees after Bishop F8, that probably doesn't go anywhere. She'd probably like to move her knight off of F3 and get her queen involved, But, the pawn's not defended sufficiently if she does that, which doesn't mean she won't. She could play knight d4, knight e5, queen h5, rawr, sack everything, and resign in a blaze of glory. No. No, I think white should play queen e2, although I'm not using an engine to help me. So that means I'm wrong. She did play queen c1. Well, then. Okay. Well, I think he's going to play bishop f8. And he played bishop f8. Yeah, the engine doesn't like queen c1. I don't know what the follow-up is after bishop f8. Always play bishop f8. The clocks don't tick anymore. They're all electronic. What is this, 1980? Yeah, queen c1 seems like the first real mistake of the game. Because after bishop f8, if white doesn't have a follow-up, then white's queen definitely would be better on e2. So the white rook could go to d1. Now the white rook is trapped on a1. And it's not clear what white should do here. White's queen was probably better at d1 than e2, so it could go to h5 or g4 later, or in some cases, e4. So one thing Dina could do is try to get her knight to g4 for more sacrificing. So like h4, h3, knight h2 to g4. Problem is, once I play knight h2, my e5 pawn is hanging. That's why it would have been better to play queen e2 than queen c1. No, live position isn't frozen. It's just on a 15-minute delay. It could be for future broadcasts. I'll discuss with the producer and Dina. We don't even use that position because the position we have is better than that. That's just 15 minutes ago. So maybe that's useless unless Dina and the producer explain why it's not. Mm-hmm. I'm perplexed about queen c1. Um, Bishop takes h6 was winning if it was white's move. Bishop f8 was the obvious retort, and now I don't see what white does. So I'm not a fan of queen c1. I think queen e2 is more flexible. Then the queen could go to e4, g4, h5. The e5 pawn is more protected, so white could play something like h4, knight h2, knight g4, which I'd still like to do now, but not with my e5 pawn attacked. On the other hand, I'm complaining a lot about queen c1. I'm not sure what black's going to do, but I'm guessing if white does nothing, then black can play like knight c5, knight d3. Seems reasonable. There's not a lot of options for either player, but knight c5 to d3 seems reasonable. Right. The position on your left with the names and the ratings, that is the real live position. And I am making moves on it and doing analysis. I'm drawing crazy arrows like this. Yeah, this position where I'm highlighting, that's live. That's the most live position there is. You see some people are still wearing masks, most people aren't. Even before the pandemic, I was asked to wear a mask at tournaments, but not because of illness, for other reasons. Shorts plus jacket. Well, he's cold one place and warm the other. Yeah, Dina doesn't look too happy with herself. She still has a nice time advantage. This tournament's being held in Charlotte at some hotel, whatever hotel they're using. They use one or two different hotels in Charlotte for tournaments. Okay, looks like she played knight h5. Somebody suggested rook e4 to h4. I mean, that's sort of going all in. A little crazy, but all right. Okay, knight h5. But yeah, maybe rook here in the next two moves. No, I mean, we have the advantage of having an engine evaluation tell us that black's doing well. If you're playing the game and you have black and your opponent's doing this and has a time advantage that's higher rated than you might just think you're getting your clock cleaned. I mean, you might just think like, I'm going to get checkmated. This is coming here. This, the queen, the knight, the rook. It's scary. We have the engine telling us that black's doing well, but it doesn't mean in real life you can stop the attack. It means the engine can stop the attack. And this is the live board that's not very alive. Good enough. Let me see here. Trying to see if I can just tell you the other games that are going on, like the important ones. Here we go. Okay, Naroditsky's on board one. He's playing Ryan Ambergy. Looks like Danya's slightly better, maybe. Then there's Bruzan Batista. He's originally from Cuba, but he plays for the US now. He's playing Liam Putnam. Bortnick is on third board. He's white against Grayson Rohrer. Their position is all crazy. I'm just trying to name the GMs in the tournament. Quesada Perez, Yasser Quesada Perez. He's playing a local Atlanta boy, Ethan Sheehan. Sergey Ehrenberg is the fifth highest rated. Jin Xiao Shu or Joe is the sixth highest rated GM. Mora Diabati is the seventh rated. And then that seems like the end of the GMs. No, there's one more. Pablo Salinas Herrera. So it looks like we got 8 GMs in the tournament. Oh, Julio Becerra. That make it 9 GMs. Mitkov, 10 GMs. Some of these GMs are lower rated than some of the IMs and FMs. So it's confusing me. Nikola Mitkov playing in the US. I haven't seen it in a long time. Popilski's a GM. He's Israeli. Vladimir Georgiev is a GM, but they don't have the GM title next to his name. Man, the truth hurts. He should be a GM. He's playing. He's paired up this round. Fedorowicz is a GM. He's playing. Fedorowicz has a crazy Benko gambit. So it looks like we got about 11 GMs in the tournament. None of the games are over. There's no quick draws. Nobody blundered and lost yet. From my perspective, I see 24 games. So that means there's 48 players in the tournament. It could be there's more than that, but they're only showing 24 games because that's all the electronics they have. It could be. That I don't know. All right, let's get back to Dina's game. Dina played knight h5. Her opponent's still there, but he moved because his clock's not running. See, his bishop's on f8. His knight's not on d5 anymore. So that means he played knight e7 because I don't see it anywhere. It must be hiding on e7. Yeah, the engine thought that gave away some of Black's advantage. So Black opening up the diagonal for his bishop while Dina's still away from the board. The knight could go to c6 later, putting pressure on e5. Dina's still with a small time advantage. So there's more than 10 GMs and there's more than 40 players in the tournament. There could be even more. There were 75 pre-entries. Yeah, so I think they're only showing the top 24 boards and they didn't have enough DGT or room for showing all the games. Yeah, so there are 75 players in the tournament. So the question is, will Dina allow her opponent to play bishop takes f3 and mess up her pawns? But also with this pawn hanging, White can play bishop f4 and save the pawn and still allow this. Or White could play bishop e4 and not allow bishop takes f3, but White doesn't really want to trade those bishops. Although she could take with the rook if Black trades and then play rook g4 and try to get some attack on the king side. Problem is, if White trades the white squared bishop, then Black has knight f5 and knight g6, which would be risky to do in this position with the bishop covering it. And Dina's not at the board. So far, her low-rated opponent is playing pretty well. He's not playing the best moves every move, but he's playing very solid. Carissa Yip is playing. I didn't see her name, but I believe you. Very nice setup they have in Charlotte. Beautiful boards and pieces and clocks. Live coverage of the top 24 games. Grandmasters everywhere. Looks like Dina brought back a coffee. This is an important decision if she's going to allow bishop takes f3 or not. And also, if whether black takes on f3 or not, if she does allow it, will black just play knight c6 and try to attack the e5 pawn again with some pressure on e5? One good thing about knight e7 is it stops rook e4 to g4 because the bishop is unleashed. Bishop is controlling the diagonal now. Very double-edged game. Why aren't you playing, Ben? There's so many answers to that question. The number one answer is I don't play tournaments anymore. I retired a year ago. I haven't played a slow-rated tournament since the 2022 World Open. That was my last slow tournament. I'm not playing anymore. The other reason is I'm doing commentary. The other reason is Karen and I have been in Las Vegas for the last 12 days. I just got back 2 days ago. Karen just got back last night. Yeah, I don't play well anymore. My analysis is okay. I understand what's going on, but then I sit there for an hour and blunder. I have a serious case of old. Latent potential has been actualized. That's right. It's a tough decision for Dina, whether to play bishop e4 and stop bishop f3 or not stop bishop f3. And if she allows bishop f3, she has to just think about her e-pawn because black's threatening to take and then play knight takes e5. And by something, I mean bishop f4, since I don't see anything else. So tough decision here. If you're watching on my channel or you're watching on Dina's channel, it's also on the other channels. It's the exact same coverage. We have it on 2 different Twitch channels. So we have over 2,000 people watching on both channels. We're covering Dina Belenkaya's tournament in Charlotte, which started today. This is round 1. Her opponent's lower rated than she is. There's, I think, 11 or 12 grandmasters playing in the tournament, and there's 75 players overall. Dina's on board 14. Time control is game 90 with a 30-second increment, and there's no second time control. So once you have no time on your clock, you got no time on your clock. Well, knight d4 is seriously hanging e5. She could play knight d4. Problem with playing f4 for white is you're blocking your queen and bishop from this attack. which is not why she played queen c1 to play f4. Somebody in Dina's chat wants to sack everything. Knight takes, bishop takes, rawr. It's possible. It sacrifices a lot of material. It's definitely not winning because the engine prefers black here. If knight g7 was winning, the engine would prefer white. Seems like white doesn't have quite enough firepower to do that. And she did play knight d4 after somebody suggested it, and I was poo-pooing it. So it's possible after knight takes e5, there's bishop f4. I guess there is actually. I guess if I play f4 relatively soon, I could play f5. I don't want my pawn on f4 forever. So Dina didn't want to lose this, mess up her king side. She thinks if you take this, bishop f4 is going to be a good retort. And the engine doesn't hate knight d4. It says it's fine. And the engine evaluation doesn't really matter to me as far as the result of the game. The game's super complicated, and one wrong move by either player could really mess up the game. And I think the onus is on black to play better because white has an attack. The attack doesn't work at the moment because the engine defends perfectly. But if you don't defend perfectly, sometimes you just lose right away. So if somebody's going to make a blunder and lose, it's going to be black. White doesn't really have a blunder here. White could just have the worst position by blundering. If black blunders, there could be some mating attack that happens really quickly, like rook e3, rook g3. Now that the e4 square is protected by the bishop, we can try to get to the king side other ways. So Dina still has some attacking potential with basically all of her pieces. Unfortunately, her rook is trapped, but she literally doesn't care. Black's knight is on e7. The live position is 15 minutes ago. Probably we'll get rid of that for the next broadcast because that's confusing a lot of you. You guys are easily confused. Times are about equal now. Dina's playing super sharp this game, very aggressive. What is happening? Chess. Chess is happening. Good evening to my chat and to Dina's chat. We have over 2,300 people watching across the two channels. We're covering Dina's tournament here. It's a super Swiss, 75 players, over 10 grandmasters. And this is round one. Looks like Mora Diabati in the background in the white coat. Although my vision's not what it used to be, so I could be wrong. It looks like him, though. I ain't got Mora Diabati. How do you know Dina? We're both chess players. We know each other from the chess world. Also, Dina's very interested in chess boxing with me, but Karen said I can't. It looks like both players dislike their position, and rightfully so. It's too complicated. Do you know all chess players? The live one is a 15-minute delay, so it's not very live. The other one, I can draw arrows. I can make it red and blue. Yeah, I can do whatever I want. So White's idea is either to play rook e3 to g3 or f4, f5. That's going to be White's continuation. Now, something sneaky White could do, which I like, is queen d1 and then to g4. Sort of admitting that queen c1 wasn't the right move. So White still has lots of attacking ideas. So the onus is on Black to show good defense. This is move 19, and there is no time control. You can't get to move 40 and get more time. You never get more time except for the 30-minute increment. Players are playing at a pretty good pace to, get to move 40, 45 before they're in time trouble, assuming the game lasts that long. Let me look at the other games just to see if any of them are done, or if anybody's completely, totally, ridiculously winning. Okay, on board 6, the Chinese Grandmaster Jin Chao Shou, he's playing a 2270 from Canada. He has 2 pieces for a rook, and the engine says he's like +6. So he's completely winning. Nobody else has such a big advantage on any of the boards that I'm looking at. And there's no games that are finished. The engine says Fedorowicz's position is very bad. He's playing Matthew Puckett. Somebody pointed out in the chat that Matthew Puckett won $5,000 in the World Open last week by winning his last 5 rounds. And the engine says that he has a crushing position against Fedorowicz. Yeah, they got 24 games live up, and none of them are done. Big think here from Srikar. Will he take on e5? Will he play knight c5 and try to get to d3? Will Karen join the stream? Lots of options. Knight takes e5 seems to run into bishop f4, but maybe that's okay. It's a risky move. It's Karen. What's that?
I was trying to find my glasses.
Your glasses? I don't see them here. It's a catch-22. You can't see your glasses.
How's it going?
It's Karen.
It's so bright down here. How's the game going?
It's very complicated. The engine prefers Dina's opponent's position, but I think it's a tough position to play because she's trying to attack. And the engine says, I can defend that, but maybe her opponent can't.
Yeah.
It's like a long-term attack. It's coming.
All right.
Yeah, there's your glasses.
Mm-hmm. How's it going,
Dina
everybody?
is mesmerized by Streetcar. What a stud. I don't know about that.
Who's is Streetcar the one she's playing?
Yeah.
Let me see if he's a stud.
He looks like he's about 17.
It's hard to tell from how old he is. He looks handsome. How's everybody doing? Yeah, he looks pretty handsome, but yeah, I can't tell the age from here.
He played knight c5, one of the moves I suggested. It could take on e5. That would be the most exciting. But he played knight c5. He wants to come into d3. So a move that makes sense to me is rook e3, because black wants to play knight d3. So rook e3 defends that a little. And then rook e3 to g3. Rawr, mad.
Mm-hmm.
See, Dina has all her pieces, ready to go here. She could play f4, f5, but I don't know, knight d3 is coming. The engine still prefers black. We can go back and look at the game.
Yeah, I haven't
because
seen
Karen
any of
hasn't
it.
seen.
Not one bit.
So I think as a practical matter, we shouldn't have this. This is what chess.com says is live, and it's a 15-minute delay.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually live. So the live position is not live, and the position with no name is live. So this seems irrelevant. This is 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, that is strange.
Yeah. So I think we just get rid of this for the next stream, because
And that comes straight from where the events.
that's on chess.com.
Yeah.
That's live to them because they're having a 15-minute delay.
Right, for cheating purposes. Okay.
Right. We're accentuating the cheating by we have a camera and we're just like, here's the move. Okay. So Dina played a very unusual way against the Sicilian. She played bishop c4, which is not the most common.
Mm-hmm.
And they played a very slow positional maneuvering game where white took control of the center and black took control of the queen side. And then in this position, I thought white would try to play knight f1 to g3, but this pawn is attacked. So I thought bishop c2 probably. The engine agreed with me. But Dina played e5, which is more, scary. Knight d5, knight e4. Takes. And here, Dina had an idea that I had. Bishop d2, queen c1, and sack here, which is a winning attack. And her opponent attacked her e-pawn. She played knight g3, defending her e-pawn. Now he made queen c1 sort of silly by playing here, because black wants to play bishop f8, which stops all this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think white should play queen e2 here, and rook d1, and attack on the king side. She played queen c1 anyway. Then after here, I don't know what she's going to do, because it's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Okay, so she played knight h5. He played knight e7, unleashing the latent potential of his bishop. She played knight d4. This is where you showed up, and he could take this pawn, then she would play bishop f4, pinning it, I think, and then I'm confused. Possibly just good for white. Possibly this is just bad. So he played knight here, and Dina's been thinking, and Dina made a move. Hey, she played the move I said she would play. She played rook e3.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have an evaluation here. The engine thinks that her opponent's like 0.8 better. So she wants to play rook g3. She's hoping to prevent knight d3, which is imminently playable, because after the trade here, if white decides to win a pawn, then the e5 pawn still isn't defended sufficiently. So knight d3 is a perfectly cromulent move. And white wants to play rook here, threatening g7 and h6 and so forth.
Mm-hmm. No, Dana.
So the engine likes black, but I think it's difficult to play white. She did play rook e3, yeah. Yeah, I like that. They have a 15-minute delay, then we have a camera, so we just ignore that and see a live.
Mm-hmm. Where's the oh, I see, that's the other chat.
Right, this is her chat,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's my chat. My chat has more people watching, but less chat. Her chat's more into the game.
Did you guys look at any of the other games?
I did without showing them. I just looked to see if there's any results and who's.
Yeah.
I told them the pairings.
Who else playing?
Everybody, I can show you.
Sure.
These are the other games. And in one of the games, this is in board order. So this is board 1, board 2, board
Mhm.
3. On board 6, the thermometer's down here. So it says black's completely winning. That's the Chinese grandmaster. And then Fedorowicz is already losing. And then here's Ethan's game. He's playing a grandmaster. He's playing the other Yasser.
Okay, good.
This guy's also Yasser.
Yeah,
My name is also Yasser.
we know Ethan very well.
Ethan has an hour time advantage. And he sacked a piece and he's playing like a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And then, now let me tell you the story of Fedorowicz's opponent. Once upon a time, it's a good story. Okay, see this game here?
Mhm.
So this guy, that's a pretty big advantage for White. The internet says he won his last 5 games in the World Open and won under 2,300, won 5,000. This says he has a winning advantage against Fedorowicz. He's up 2 pawns, 2 connected pass pawns, and a Benko.
How about Andrew Zhang is his?
Oh, here's Carissa Yip.
Okay.
They're only showing 24 of the 37 games.
So he's not on one of them.
I don't see him, but maybe he is. I just don't see him.
Yeah, there's a lot of boards.
Also, Vladimir Georgiev's a GM and they don't give him a GM title. Man, harsh.
Well, you have to apply for it.
No, he's a GM. No, he's been a GM
No,
forever.
I'm not saying that. On chess.com, if you want to have as part of your name, they don't do it for you. You have to submit a form. Yeah.
Okay.
And he just didn't do it.
Oh.
Like, for
Oh,
example,
here's Andrew Jang.
Matt Larson
Mhm.
doesn't have IM beside his name.
Mm.
You gotta apply for it.
Andrew Jiang has slight advantage against Nico Chasen.
Good.
Now we have to be careful. Okay, here's something only Karen and I know. We're going to impart some wisdom on you. There's 2 Andrew Jangs. It used to be the one in North Carolina was higher rated than the one in Atlanta. Now the Atlanta one's a lot higher rated. And they're playing in North Carolina, but this is the Atlanta one. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess Andrew Zhang is a middle schooler. We know him from the Atlanta area. Great player.
Ooh, Megan Lee is playing. She's a tweeter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know the secret of Arjun Vishnuvardhan? Do you know who he's related to?
No.
He's the brother of Gowrie. They're brothers. They're like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's an IM, and he's lower rated than Gowrie, who's not an IM. Don't forget these things.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to test you later.
And Gower's playing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gowrie was on the last board they were showing.
Okay, and Canty's playing.
Bortnick sacrificed all his pawns so he had more open files.
Yeah, Laszlo's commenting in the chat. He says, I was excited to see Andrew Zhang made National Master. Yeah, that's been a while.
Yeah, Andrew Zhang's over 2,300.
Yeah, he's over 2,300. He's doing
Okay,
great.
so after rookie 3, Srikar's not moving. It's too complicated. Yeah, there's 3 2,600 FIDEs. There's a Yasser playing, but not Yasser Sarawan. Somebody said Yasser Sarawan and Yasser Sarah 2.
Hey, Alpha Forever, how's it going?
Is 96 good if black plays random legal move? 96 hangs the knight to 2 different pieces, so no.
Why is this stream tagged ADHD? Meaning, why is our stream tagged? Because our mod has ADHD.
Also, so does most of the people watching. So
He does tag sometimes. Trying to learn. I think he's here.
mm-hmm. Both players are choking on their own rage.
Yeah, I changed the stream title to match that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I hope that Dina gets it going.
Somebody in Dina's chat says the engine wants to play King H8. That's a very difficult move to play for somebody who's under 2100, and for somebody who's over 2100, also difficult. I expect him to play knight d3 because he played knight c5, played knight c5 to play knight d3. So that's what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
Those look like Canty's.
That was about to say that looks like Canty.
Oh man, I saw Fedorowicz without his head, and it was Fedorowicz. I was like, that's Fedorowicz. Everything he did was Fedorowicz-esque.
Yeah, that's definitely Canty.
Mm-hmm.
Who else can we see in the background? I saw Maya earlier setting up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard to tell.
Very exciting first round game.
I hope that Dina wins. Hey, Moves, how's it going? We just got back from Las Vegas. And so we hadn't even had a chance to stream yet on our channel because we had the Dina event.
Peter is running this tournament. Thanks, Xenoid. It looks like all the players are choking on their rage. And in the background, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played in the same hotel before when they had an adult tourney called Alto. What did it stand for? Adult. No.
Mm-hmm. I think the O is for only.
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot now.
Did you stay at Circus Circus? Your band and your children's children. Thanks, Sir Percival.
21. It's something 21.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever it is, it's a good tournament to do. And they're going to have another one this fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we stayed at Horseshoe in Vegas, and then I went to day 2 of the main event. Ben came home, and I had to move hotels over to Harrah's.
Boo.
Boo. I saw Botez walk by. She also played the main event. I yelled out Botez, but she didn't hear me.
I haven't seen her opponent get up during the game. At least 21, somebody says, is what Alpha stands for.
Okay, that's what it is. Thank you. Yeah, I think Dina did the last one. We did the first one. They've had 2 of those so far, and I guess it's going to be an ongoing event that Charlotte Chestnut puts on. But that's
Thanks
where
for
we
the
played.
raid, Curly Mo.
Yay, thank you, Curly Mo. Yeah, so we played in that same tournament hall that Dina's playing in. Horseshoe is a great hotel. Bally's was always great. I live in Vegas. Horseshoe was fine. I could have done without all the smoke. When the tournaments were on break, the tournaments were on in Paris or Horseshoe. People didn't have an easy way to go smoke because they didn't have the doors propped open like last year. Whereas on the Paris side, it was much easier to breathe because people had access to go smoke outside. So we had a nice room on the horseshoe side. But the smoke was bad over there. I'm real happy that I moved on today to the main event, but I busted out, so I didn't win any money in it, but at least I had one entry into it, so it was free for me to play it. It's still going on, goes on for almost 2 weeks. I believe Botez is still in.
Mhm.
Is today day 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't know if there are any other people that you guys might know. I assume Faraz is still in. I'm out of touch with who's in or out because I was traveling home yesterday from Vegas to Atlanta. We have all sorts of problems that I was greeted with. The air condition doesn't work on the bottom floor of the house, and a branch fell on the fence, so the dogs are getting out again. So, so I cut the mesh. I think I can repair the fence myself. So
Thanks, Fred God.
busy times. Poker playing, handyman, mom.
Hey, we have a hype train on my channel. Amazing.
Yay. Thank you, Fret God, for the sub.
One of the problems with white playing rook g3 immediately is queen takes e5, and then the knight's attacked on h5. So it's possible with white to move, white shouldn't play rook g3. But on the other hand, after rook g3, queen e5, I can sack here, and I have bishop h6. Then you have knight g6 and knight f. So I don't know. I'm not sure if white can play rook g3 next move, but it's scary looking. Yeah, this is the longest think of the game.
No, yeah, that one.
Thanks, Sir Percival. Very tense moment in the game. The engine likes king h8. Knight d3 is the human move. He's been thinking so long. We're only one move behind on the. Oh, now it's the same position. The live board and the actual live board. It's never happened.
Where you guys are chiming in about my complaining about the cigarettes. Yeah, the smoke is bad. Yeah.
He used to smoke at chess tournaments too.
Oh yeah,
Well, he put his knight back to d5, never going back.
That's even hard to imagine.
Yeah, the knight moved like that. The engine says, boo, boo. Now it says Dina's winning. Yeah, the engine really hates that move. It's never been so angry.
What's your rating, RDPXI? Because different chess books are for better for different ratings.
See, now if I play rook g3, queen e5, you don't have knight g6 anymore. So like I'm looking at this, and I'm liking white. And the engine likes white more than I do. So that's saying something. Yeah, we can't play knight g6 anymore because he played knight d5. So this is winning for white. See, if you're going to attack the rook and the rook wants to go to g3, that you have to have a reason why you did that. And the engine says there's no reason, it's just bad. It says knight here's a bad move. He played knight here, then he went back here. The pressure was too much for him. Yeah, if queen takes e5 doesn't work, then this is exactly what white wanted to do. Yeah, the engine says that Dina's winning now. Knight d5 is a blunder.
Oh, I see. The queen can't take the pawn. To get trapped. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Dina's really attacking.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, chess games are about taking advantage of when your opponent makes a bad move too.
Oh, Dina did play rook g3. I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys just shook hands on the board behind them.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's anybody I know.
I don't recognize them.
That could be. Oh, I didn't see Rutten's name though. I'll say that could be Rutten on the right.
Let's see. Bortnick is winning. He tripled up on the bubble up. Yasser's winning against Ethan. Joe's still winning. Let's see. Canty's still hanging in there. Better position, it says.
Mm-hmm.
Fedorowicz is barely losing, it says.
Yeah, Brewington Hardaway. I'm pretty sure Archer's played him at least once.
Yeah, he just got an IM norm or title.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get his rating up. He has all the norms.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. Rook g3, and he's still thinking after rook g3. I mean, like he attacked the rook, forcing it to g3, and then after rook g3, big think. And then Canty's showing off the guns. Canty's like, I like when all the pieces are attacking.
The Canty's been hitting the gym.
Yeah, I don't know what black should do here. Queen takes e5 just loses. But it already says that he's losing. It says knight d5 was just a blunder. Forcing Dina to put the rook where she wanted to. Now, if it's white's turn to move, white's threatening everything. Knight f6 check, knight takes g7, bishop takes h6, etc. The question is, if black plays the relatively obvious king h8, does white have some sacrifices that win? The answer is fries. I think you have to play king h8. You can't allow bishop takes h6 or knight takes g7. And the engine wanted him to play king h8 last move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys play tournament chess, but it's really a lot of fun. You don't have to be as good as Dina or all these GMs running around.
But you do have to be as good as Srikar.
This tournament that is for higher rated, but many tournaments for all different levels. I love tournament chess.
Somebody in Dina's chat is saying that King H8 loses to Knight G7, Bishop G7, Bishop H6. And the engine says, yeah, this does look unbelievably bad for black. And then here's one of the lines that was given by the person in the chat.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Well, if King H8 loses, then I give up. I resign. Because I can't allow these moves. Whoa, what do you do? G6? God damn. G6. Oh. Didn't expect that one. That G6 is the best move, I guess. G6, it says 1-0. All right. Yeah, you don't play H6 and G6. Now, a lot of moves are tempting. Bishop takes H6, bishop takes G6. So one thing black can do after bishop takes H6 is play queen takes E5. Otherwise, white would just be up a pawn. White could sack a piece here, but it might be unsound. It looks fun, though.
All right, she's back at the board.
Still a nice time advantage for Dina. Oh, the board's getting big. Scared.
No, what was that?
That's the producer.
Oh.
He said unintelligible things. Ben, your board is wrong. My board is the rightest board ever. See, look at that board. That's great. It's a hairy position. Yeah, Dina is jet lagged. She flew in from Israel, I think she said.
No bracelets for me, Bishop takes. I had a great time though. I did cash 3 times. So I did really well for my first World Series of Poker. But did not get a bracelet.
I bought Karen a bracelet, but she threw it out.
Yeah, thank you, Varda. Varda Nate. I missed being at the Vegas Chess Festival too this year. Because we had 2 back-to-back trips, I didn't feel like I could come and board the dogs so much. But I did win some money in Vegas. I played really well. I made day 2 of the main event. I cashed the women's event. I made day 2 of the women's. I cashed a bounty tournament. I cashed some other tournament. It was really fun. And I'm going to be studying a lot of poker.
I'm going to look at some moves. Bishop H6, I think black can play queen takes E5. Yeah, this isn't right because the engine evaluation went down a lot. Then there's bishop g6, which is crazy like a fox. It says black's better after that. Doesn't like that.
Mhm.
And I mean, if it's black's move, black's going to play queen takes e5. So I don't know. There's knight f6 check. That looks wrong too. Yeah, the engine doesn't like that either. I mean, that just leaves f4. I don't see another move that defends the e-pawn that makes any sense.
What does the engine say is the best
No,
move?
it says f4 is terrible. I just have this thermometer, so I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, I don't want to allow queen takes e5. I could play queen e1. I'm not sure why I'm playing queen e1. Like to defend my e-pawn. Yep, doesn't like that either. Every move I make, it doesn't like.
you should it should be like an analysis window.
It's on analysis, and still there's no analysis. The reason is I'm not the owner of the board. I'm just somebody watching the board. I'm nobody.
Then you could download it and just put it in chess base.
No, but I want to find the right move for Wyatt. I don't see a move that's like it doesn't like this. It doesn't like this. It doesn't like queen e1. Doesn't like f4. And I don't want to allow queen takes. What's that?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see. Thank you. I didn't want to play knight f3, but it says knight f3 is by far the best move. Knight f3 defending my pawn.
Mm.
That's a hard move to find because it looks so passive.
Yeah, because she's got
The
this attack
idea
going
is
on.
you're just going to take this pawn and be up a pawn.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's weird because white played knight d4 like 3 moves ago to get the rook in here, and then back to f3 is the right move. It's hard to believe. And we have some pressure on e6, so we're, it looks like it releases the pressure.
Put this out of the way of my beautiful World Series of Poker shirt. Is Charlotte a better chess city than New York City these days? I don't know.
I would say, yeah.
It seems like it is.
Seems like St. Louis is first and Charlotte's second.
Yeah. Man, it's so hot down in here. No air condition. Suffering for chess.
Let's see. Thank you for scheduling. You're welcome.
You can see Streetcar getting into time trouble. I heard something.
That's the live board making a move usually from 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I like her layout on the stream. Looks good.
Yeah.
Looks real good.
Yeah, she's going to play bishop h6 or bishop f4. I can't tell which one bishop f4 is better than bishop h6.
She almost moved the bishop.
She almost moved the bishop, and then she was like, "Wait a minute."
Chess is suffering.
Yeah, she took on h6. That gives away a lot of her advantage. But yeah, knight f3 is hard to find. Oh, this is funny. After the obvious queen takes e5, which hasn't been played yet, now bishop g6 is the right move. Wow. I hope that happens. then takes, rook takes g6, king f7 is better than king h7, bishop takes f8. Now king takes f8 is better than rook f8. Man, it'd be hard to play king f8 if I could play rook f8. Looks like my king can hide better. Queen takes h5 is a move. King takes g6, I assume just gets mated in 2 or 3 moves without seeing any mate. Let's play it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that why can't they just take?
Queen here.
Oh, okay, I can see that move.
And then knight f3 is by far the best move. There's no other move because here comes the knight. Okay, this is why I quit chess. This is the best move. And now the best move is not to take this. It's to go here and then here. Yeah, I quit chess. And now white's down a rook instead of up a queen, and white's winning. None of this will ever happen ever. All right, so that's just some of the crazy analysis. Did he play queen e5? Yeah, he played queen e5 because you have to. So by far the best move is bishop g6, which is really hard to play. Second best move is either bishop g5 or rook h3. H3 is weird. Bishop g5, I understand. Yeah, knight f3 was a really hard move to find. So white has a close to winning advantage here, but her position is less good than it was 2 moves ago. Still big time advantage for Dina. Okay, she played bishop f8, always play bishop f8. Delete this variation.
For you poker players, I had Mike Matusow at my table on day 2 in the main event.
So the only move is king takes f8, otherwise resigns. Rook takes f8, loses immediately. Knight d3 also loses immediately. I'm not sure why rook takes loses immediately. Let's find out. Queen h6, threatening bishop g6. And then just says white's completely winning. He did take with the king. That's correct. Well, knight f3 is the only good move. Otherwise, black's better. So the queen's trapped. Knight f3, queen takes h5, rook h3, and then the engine just takes the rook. But the queen here, queen h6, rook h4, and the queen is trapped. And this is winning for white. Rook h8, queen h8. This is the engine analysis. And white's up in exchange for no pawns. So knight f3 is the best move. Yeah, so most of the advantage has gone away, and she has to find knight f3 here. It isn't easy to find. She might play rook g5, and then it says black is slightly better.
With regards to my comment about Matusow, C.L. Smith says, I'm sure he had plenty of well thought out and reasonable takes. He was a little rough around the edges, but he was fun. Phil Hellmuth is my favorite poker player. He's a jerk off, but the most entertaining.
Bortnick won. Look at it. Look at what he did. You see what he did here? He played in this position. He played rook h8 check. Then if you take it, queen f7 mate.
Pretty good.
So Bortnick won. What else we got? Danya's slightly better. Yasser's beating Ethan. Oh, the Chinese Grandmaster, Jin Chao Zhou, he won against Nicholas Vitesse. Or Vitesse, depending on your pronunciation. Ehrenberg is much worse. Wow. Ehrenberg's the 5th highest rated player. He has a big disadvantage. Let's see. Mora Diabati is dead lost, it says. Why is he dead lost there? What? This looks like equal position to me. He's playing Gowry's brother.
Mm.
I don't understand the evaluation. Looks like he's doing fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna read a couple of chats.
Mm-hmm.
So Lacey says, Mike the Mouth, how cool. Did you win any pots versus him? I did not, because I busted out soon after he got moved to our table. But as soon as he sat down, he complained that he'd been card dead all day. And then the first hand he played at our table was kings. And then I busted out soon, maybe an hour after playing with him, but I didn't win any pots against him.
Seth Holm is doing badly against a GM.
Can the other player choose to not be on camera? Seems like an advantage for Dina, who's used to being on camera. Now, I don't think they can opt out, but I'm not sure. I kind of felt that way at the World Series of Poker because they get a couple of professionals and famous ones for the feature table, and then you're randomly selected to get on there. And I definitely did not want to play poker on the stream with professionals. So, but there wasn't a way I could say no.
Dina's having a long think.
Luckily, I wasn't chosen.
Knight f3 is a hard move to find because your knight's attacked twice, so you don't think about just leaving it there. Yeah, queen h6 looks good, and then when you analyze it, it's probably not good because your knight is still trapped and rook h8's coming. This camera is just for Dina's stream. That's correct. C.L. Smith said, obviously the complaining worked.
Yeah, I don't know if he moved on to day 3 or not. Mike the Mouth. He seems like a bitter, strange man.
When I asked Schiffoni, because he played with him, I said, how does he play? And Schiffoni always has a good quip.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the perfect Schiffoni. He said he plays like a man who's on drugs. The truth hurts. Man, I'm so hungry. I ate at like 3 in the morning, and then that was it. So I haven't eaten, and I can't do the math.
I'm scared to eat.
Well,
So
me too, but I'm hungry now. I wasn't hungry all day. our schedules make no sense. There's no heat, there's no air conditioning in the house. And we're exhausted from being in Vegas forever. And the time change.
And the dogs are escaping.
The dogs are
fence.
leaving the yards. We can't let them out.
So now we have to get
Do they
back
have
away.
dinner yet, the dogs?
No, but they were sleeping and
Oh, yeah, if they're sleeping.
I don't
that's
wake
good.
them up.
Yeah.
They're due a dinner and can you walk?
Mhm,
Glory be. And,
mhm. Yeah, I know how to. Yeah.
and then tomorrow we'll have it resolved.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna go to karaoke. Yeah, our sleep is all messed up from being in Vegas. I asked Dina if she plays poker and she said no,
But not yet.
not yet. You're fasting right now, Sir Percival? I'm pretty sure I have a stomach ulcer, but I have to
We're old, so
confirm
everything's
it.
wrong with us.
So I've had the side pain, like upper right side, for like, in a year and a half or 2 years. It kind of came and went, but lately it's been really bad. So I was having to play with that flaring up in Vegas. They did an ultrasound, and, no cancer or anything like that. So probably going to end up being an ulcer. So I have to be careful about what I eat right now until I can get the scope done.
I'm going to order food. Hungry. Oh, this is cheap and bad. Perfect. See, the players that are good like Gina, they know when it's the critical position. This is critical. Like knight f3 gives her an advantage. Queen h6 gives her opponent advantage. Rook g5 is about equal. And this is where they like you start thinking. These are positions you want to play the right move. And she has a nice time advantage, so that helps. I think Dina feels she had more of an attack and it's going away, and she's not happy. And her opponent looks calmer than they did before.
Boy, now what's the move? Let's see.
Knight f3 is the right move.
And then will black take white's knight? Or...
Yeah, then rook h3, and the queen's trapped.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
So this is really good for white. I think after knight f3, we don't take the knight. Yeah, we play queen h8 is the best move. If you can find that. Then knight f4, the knight just goes back to safety. And material's equal, but white's better because black's king is suspicious. Wow, in this position, the engine move is king e8. Say, what? Wow. Now that's an engine move
That's true.
because a human wouldn't play it.
Right.
Wow.
Thank you for the sub, Mountain Dude.
Okay, so we got this position and we're waiting for Dina. Dina's been thinking quite a long time here.
Let's see what's wrong with it. How can you tell when it's critical? I don't know.
You feel it. There's a lot of choices here. Sensing the critical position is just the intuition of a top player. Sometimes top players move in 30 seconds. Sometimes they take 45 minutes. They can sort of sense when it's critical. I can't really sense anything anymore, so I don't play anymore. I just never move and think forever. Somebody wants to look at this variation with knight takes c3. The problem with this line, because you're threatening knight e2 check, and you're giving the d5 square for your queen, is in this position, the engine really likes white here, as black's king is suspicious. Although white is down a pawn, but white does have a nice attack. Look at this, after the best move, king here, the best move, bam! And then knight g5. And now the engine says king here and king here get mated, so you have to give your queen away. Now this is forced mate. Mate. The king is not too safe when it's walking up the board like that. That's not unreasonable because black might think that I'm a pawn up here. And then the engine's like, yeah, but you're lost. Yeah, the engine says black can't stop this attack. And rook's coming. Yeah, I wouldn't know that black is lost here. I just know because I'm looking at the engine. This looks like it's possible. Okay, so Dina's still thinking. The three moves that are to be considered are queen h6 check, rook g5, and knight f3. I don't think there's a fourth move. Let's see if other games are done. Naroditsky's slightly better. Batista has a much worse position against Liam Putnam. So we have a possible upset there. Possible upset in Ehrenberg's game. Anybody else completely winning? Mora Diabati, it says, is completely winning. Casa Corley's playing. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Go Casa. Yeah, I stayed at his place once when I was playing in a tournament.
Yeah,
You know what he said to me?
yeah, I've heard this joke. Mikasa
Sukasa.
or so.
Mikasa Sukasa.
I've heard that.
Probably somebody else told you. Fedorowicz fighting back, but still much worse. Well, there's only 2 games done of the top 24. All right. King f8, and she's still thinking. Longest think of the game. Man, Canty's never at the board. That's Canty. He's just he knows all the other games that are going. And also he's streaming. Yeah, see?
Same
So
thing.
Canty's streaming, but he's never at the board. Very suspicious.
That's funny.
Yeah, being at the board's tough.
Tell Karen the streetcar pun.
You know, I did a streetcar named Desire Pun. Yeah, here's Canty again. Canty can't stay away from the camera.
Yeah, Gowry's playing too. That's true.
I've known Canty since before you guys were born. When like, I mean, I'm a lot older than Canty, but we're both from Michigan.
Did Ben and Karen? Oops, sorry.
And what's funny is, for years, Canty lived in Atlanta and I lived in Michigan. And now I live in Atlanta and Canty lives in Michigan. So there you go.
What, did we look like we were frozen?
His favorite movie's Frozen.
You know, I'm not gonna move around a whole lot. I'm a very quiet person.
Just like me.
You would hate to think for a long time in those chairs. sore butt. And I think the chairs are
The chairs
fine.
look okay.
Yeah, they have cushions.
I've seen worse chairs.
I don't remember them being a problem when we played there.
Last year, Nepo played at this tournament, and I said, "How are the chairs?" And he said, "But okay."
Canty getting norms. I guess he's trying to get some.
Well, it's round one, so I don't know.
He's gotten norms before. I don't know how many. He has at least one IM norm, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds like him.
Yeah, he has at least one.
Somebody says, "This is my plan, but I have no engine." The players don't have engines either. Truth hurts. I mean, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and try to watch some of the World Series of Poker coverage on Poker Go. I'm behind.
This thing is so long that the live board is now live. I've never said that sentence before, although I did once this stream. So the best move is knight f3. Rook g5 is the second best move. The engine has spoken. See, before engines existed, people would argue for 20 or 30 years about chess positions. And I'm serious, sometimes longer. One of the most famous examples, I'm sure you're aware, is when the one game Botvinnik played Fischer, they adjourned the game in a rook and pawn ending, and Fischer made a mistake right away. He was close to winning, and they analyzed it for like 40 years whether it was winning or not. They analyzed were they both queen, like Kasparov analyzed it when he was like a young player within the Botvinnik school. He said, "Here's my analysis," and they analyzed like every grandmaster analyzed it like 40 moves after like positions that happened, and then they still didn't know. And I think she played rook g5. It looks like. Let's see what on the. I don't see a rook on g3, so I'm going to say rook g5. Not a bad move. By far the best move is queen h8. After queen h8, the engine slightly prefers black, very slightly. Otherwise, it says white has a great game.
I don't think Magnus played the World Series of Poker this year, Mountain.
He did not. He's currently in Croatia playing, winning all of his games.
Yeah. I thought he would play, but he didn't.
Yesterday in the Blitz, and the players are all good. I can name the players, but you know who they are. You know, like Caruana, Nepo, Rapport, Duda. He went 9-0 in the Blitz yesterday. Yeah, it was the greatest accomplishment of his life. Everybody he beat was good except the last guy who was the local guy.
Yeah.
Although that guy's not local. He like jumped up when he beat the guy, the last guy, because he went 9-0. He was like, yes.
Yeah.
But even though that was like the worst guy by far. Yeah, that guy's like me, but he's better than me, but he's closer to me than Magnus, like a lot closer.
That's good that he's still enjoying chess a bit.
The engine says, you know, queen h8, but when you're playing in a game, it's hard to play queen h8. You don't play queen h8 too often. That's not, you know.
Let me check my text. I want to see when Karen's going. Because I'm not going to be there long. She's shooting for 8:30. I don't have to be there right at 8:30.
Oh, can you leave the garage open when you go up? Because you're going up soon, right?
Probably go up around 8:30.
Yeah, because my food's being delivered.
Okay.
In fact, if you're not gone, you could bring it down.
Down here?
You could.
Probably maybe.
All right, I'll wait.
I'd wait.
All
Yeah,
right.
wait. Definitely.
How many Karens are there? 3. Yeah, Pillsbury Lasker was analyzed forever too. That was complicated. Not for engines. Big time advantage here for Dina.
Oh, that's good.
Queen H8's a weird move. I mean, it's hard for a human to play Queen H8. However, if he watches my stream, he'll know to put it in H. So maybe. Somebody in Dina's chat says I'm wrong. Queen H8, obvious move. Got to play Queen H8. No other move makes sense. I mean, Queen D6, Queen C7. Also, he's been thinking for 4 minutes. Both players proving they're not using engines. Perfect. I'm going to see if any other games finished. And by that, I mean they finished 15 minutes ago. Naroditsky has a big advantage. Oh, now Batista's better. He was lost like 5 moves ago. Now he's better. Ethan's completely lost.
Hang on one second. Trying to learn says the clock is behind by 20 minutes from the live stream. Not sure what that means.
Yeah, but the live stream is not live, so it's hard to understand.
Right.
Mora Diabati's winning. Not too surprising. Lots of GMs in this event. Let's see, how's Fed doing? Fed's still losing, but complicated. All right, interesting games. But typically the GMs do better than the non-GMs, which is good for me. Promote. It's taking a long time.
You want to know if there's a way to see Danya's game? Well, we don't.
Yeah, if you go to chess.com and go to events and go to the event, you can see 24 games.
Well, we don't control the board, so it's a little bit harder. Otherwise, we could.
And even if you see Danya's game, it's only from 15 minutes ago. There's no camera on his game. And they yelled at Dina when she showed up. They said, "You didn't bring a camera for everybody?" I mean, only for her own game. She's thinking, what are Ben and Karen saying about this game? Uh-oh, the producer's doing something. That can't be good. Yeah, see? The producer's doing something. No. Okay, so this is Danya's game. A QGD, exchange variation. Okay, still Fury. I like playing Knight H5 nowadays. It's two. Danya's pushing pawns all over the board, getting more space. Never play F6. Man, Danya pushed a lot of pawns this game. The engine likes the way he's playing. G takes instead of knight takes. What's wrong with knight takes? Oh, knight takes, I have knight e4. And then my knight's good on e4. G takes is actually better. No, that stops knight e4, knight e5, knight g5. White can't do Vishwa nothing. Queen check. Who doesn't like that move? It wants to play knight here and says it's equal. Says after this, white's a lot better. Yeah, white has a lot of space. Yep. And this is the position from 15 minutes ago. Also the live position. White has a big advantage due to black's passive kingside pieces and terrible pawn structure. But black's still in the game, still playing. That's Danya's game on board one. He's still thinking after rook g5. The person who said queen h8 was obvious, not too obvious. You've been thinking for 15 minutes. Dina's walking around like a boss. She's like, why isn't Canty looking at my game? And this guy's like, look at my guts. I'm looking at the game.
Who's that?
It ain't Canty, but some guy with, I ain't play queen h8. What do you know? All right, back to reality. Queen h8. Oh, wait. He didn't play knight f3. She played rook g5, queen h8. Okay, and this is the live position. This position is the most live. Now the engine prefers Srikar's position slightly. It says knight f4 is better than knight g3.
Who are we supporting? Well, obviously Dana. But, there's some other games going on too.
Karen was upstairs a couple hours ago, walked around with a sign that said Naroditsky. Yay, they're driving here with my food. It says, please turn the lights on. It's dark. I should take credit for Magnus's comeback. I should. It's the Blitz comeback. What did Dina do? She played knight f4. Whoa, what's happening? What's going on? Rook g5, queen h8, knight f4. All right. Knight f4 was correct. Now it says black's better if he plays e5. If he doesn't play e5, he's worse. It's doing this again, the board where it's messing up. The board starts doing weird stuff. It starts going into other variations. I blame the producer because why not? I blame somebody. Right, like that wasn't played. So I do this is correct, and then it overrides and goes back to the previous variation. And then he's doing some crazy stuff with the board.
That's all right. We got some time to kill, fix stuff. Just have to keep fixing it until we don't. Board's too big. Yeah, he's playing with it a little bit.
He's fixing the board.
We got time. We'll make sure you get to see all the moves.
Yes. So it went 24 rook g5, And it keeps playing knight f3, but it's rook g5. I move 24. And then queen h8, knight f4, and that's the current position. Yep, queen h8, knight f4.
Yeah, we'll get it all fixed. Don't you guys worry. One thing at a time.
Yeah, so take, right, there you go, yeah. Then queen h8, knight f4.
Yes, it gives us something to talk about. It's all good.
Just like, what's her name? What's her name? Yeah, what is her name?
Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt, that's her name, yeah. And 1% of the chat's heard of Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt is a badass. All right.
And then knight f4 after queen h8. Hooray. And then the board's all crazy, which is funny.
Bonnie who? I'm talking about Bonnie Raitt. Great musician. Singer.
It'll be here in 5 minutes. We can open the garage soon, which
So
won't stop them from putting it in front.
So we've got this situation fixed. Does he not know this is askew?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, surely he knows.
Mhm.
Okay.
He does, but don't call him Shirley.
Because I saw him working on it, and then he
Mhm.
bailed, and we worked on this. Okay. Just making sure. So I'm going to go in a minute, and I'll check on the food. You said bring it inside, obviously. If they're
You just put it on the
if it's not here, do you know if it's here yet?
It'll be here 8:35 to 8:38.
So if I'm gone already, do you want me to leave the garage open, or does it matter?
Yeah, leave the garage open so they can deliver the food.
Well, they can always put it right outside.
Mhm.
So okay, yeah, I'll do that then.
Wait, somebody made a move. I can't believe it. Let's see. This position doesn't make any sense.
Look like she took a piece. I think she took that on D5. She took some. Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. We'll get it figured.
He didn't play E5, which is the engine move. And his rook D6 was the second engine move. So I don't know what he did. Did he play knight takes F4? No, because his knights are on D5. Does anybody know what he played? After knight F4? Was anybody watching? They made like 4 moves.
Mm-hmm.
And the F7 pawn is gone. I don't understand. Well, it's black's move after knight F4. Was it queen F6, knight G6? That's my guess.
Here's
Okay, I'm gonna guess that.
one idea.
No, that's from
Okay.
that's our chat. Never been so wrong. I think it was queen F6, knight G6. So let's do that. Queen F6. Queen F6 is a mistake. Knight G6 is the refutation. Okay, good. FG6, rook G6, and he played queen F4. And now white just takes the queen and plays rook check and takes, and white's up 2 pawns. And she's doing that. Okay, that's what's happening. So his queen f6 was a mistake, and then she correctly sacked on g6. She hasn't even played rook f6 check. I played it before her. Mine's more live than live. It's like more human than human. So now she's just up 2 pawns and then technique. E5 doesn't win the piece because she has rook g4 check. If the king's on the e file, she can play rook e1, which is probably going to happen. Well, she's just up 2 pawns for nothing with 2 passed pawns.
Did she just do something that was like a little lag?
I moved before her. I knew what she was going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the engine doesn't even play e5. I mean, if you're a human, you have to play e5 because otherwise you lose. And then the engine's like, that doesn't work. Very nice knight sacrifice. I guess their times are about the same. But now she just needs the wrap it up button.
Do you think Canty's also winning? I'm gonna head out.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well, they
hope-
dropped off our order already.
Okay.
It's at the front door.
All right, I'll bring it in.
Mhm.
Good night, everybody. Ben's gonna keep going. I have to
Yeah,
take
he
a
played
break.
e5. That's the human move. It doesn't work. Knight f5 check wins. Rook e1 wins.
Okay. All right. See you guys. You know, put it inside.
Yeah, on the island, if you remember. He did say gotcha, bitch. It was very unusual. Let me look at the other games because people are telling me stuff. Okay, Bortnik won, which you already knew. Yasser Quesada Perez won. Jin Chao Zhou won. Mora Diabadi won. So the Grandmasters are all winning. Shocking. And somebody's telling me Canty has a good position. Yes, Canty has an excellent position and a big time advantage. That's correct. Carissa Yip has a good position and more time. Fedorowicz is lost. Down the exchange for nothing. White has a passed pawn. Let's see, what did she do? She can either play knight f5 check or rook e1. Rook e1's better. It's, well, actually, oh, she played rook e1? Yeah, okay. Rook e1 was better. Get the rook into the game finally. Yeah, white has a safer king, better pieces. Rook on a8's no good. Very nice tactic, knight to g6. It's Karen again. Yeah, the engine says she's +4. She's up 2 connected pass pawns for nothing, and her pieces are better. Also, there's some chance that he's going to lose his e5 pawn. We can easily attack it a couple more times. And his king will be exposed at that point. Dina's going to go to her room at the hotel after the game, and we're going to interview her for a couple minutes. That was the plan. Whether it happens, we don't know, but that's the plan. So the game's been going on for a little more than 3 hours. And both sides have about 10, 15 minutes left, and Dina's completely winning. The complications were too much for Srikar. Let's see if any other games have finished. Also, I'll give you some evaluations. Naroditsky's clearly better, not winning, but better. Batista on board 2 is better. Let's see. Ehrenberg is much worse. That's an upset, possible upset. Megan Lee has a very bad position, although she's paired up to Andy Woodward. Makes sense. Seth Homa's losing to Pablo Salinas Herrera. Asa Corley's about equal against an FM. Andrew Jiang has a big advantage against Nico Chasen. Julio Becerra has a bad position, says, against a 2160. Canty has an excellent position. Looks good for Canty. Vladimir Georgiev is winning on the board and on the clock. Fedorowicz is completely lost against 2150. And that's the news, other than the games that have already ended. Srikar down to his last few minutes. Yeah, position's resignable because bad king, bad pawn structure, less pawns, less time, less rating. His nails aren't as nice. Yeah, the aggressive play by Dina was too much for her opponent. Eventually, he cracked. He defended well for a long time, and his position was fine, but too much pressure. Pressure on the clock and on the board. I'm not even sure what he can do here. I mean, White's threatening rook takes e5 check. Not really a good way to defend. The engine moves are rook d5 and knight d7. Those both look terrible. Yeah, black looks pretty forlorn. Yeah, the live position that's up from 15 minutes ago, that's where black made the losing move. Played queen f6, and then knight takes g6 was winning. And white has a winning attack, and black traded down to a lost ending instead. And he did play rook d5, just like the engine. Knight f3 and rook g4 are both. But knight f3 is more human. Threatens the e5 pawn, saves the knight. But you might want to play knight f5 check later. It doesn't matter. Winning is winning. Let's see if we have any more results. No, just the ones I reported. Danya's close to winning his game. Let's see if Fedorowicz is still losing. Yep, pretty lost. Dina being extra careful, knowing that she's winning. Both players know that white's winning. You could see on the live board from 15 minutes ago the winning sacrifice Dina made. I think Dino played knight f3. That seems like the simplest. Thinking a lot longer than I would expect. It's like the wrap it up time. But you can never be too careful. She pretended to move. Looks like knight f3, while your hand is moving. Rook h4. Okay, so she's still on the attack. Wants to still do stuff. Nothing wrong with rook h4. Yeah, it's nice that the knight has the option to go to either f5 or f3, and the rook is safe and can check from far away. Both players getting pretty low on time, but Dina has more time. D6. Yeah, now it's unclear if she should play knight f5 or knight f3 because they both win. She could also throw in rook h6 check if she wants. For those of you that joined late, this is Super Swiss in Charlotte, 9 rounds, GM and IM norms and other norms. There's about 11 or 12 GMs playing, 75 players total, and we're doing live coverage of Dina Belenkaya's games. This is round one, and we're doing it on her channel and also on my channel. And she's about to wrap up this game. She has a winning endgame with 2 extra pawns. There are double rounds in this tournament, just not today. Okay, she threw in a check. Again, every move is winning. Knight e6 is good, knight f5, knight f3. Dina seems annoyed at some stuff. I don't know what. I guess she's worried about the black rook coming to d2. Obviously, knight f3 would stop that. Let's see if there's any other results. Naroditsky's completely winning, huge plus. Berzon seems to be close to winning. On boards 3 and 4, the GMs won, Bortnik and Yasser Quesada Perez. Ehrenberg is worse with white against the 2200. Joe won the Chinese Grandmaster on board 6. Mori Diabati won on board 7 with white. And some interesting games going on otherwise, but no results. Those are the only results so far. Black did play king c7. This is internet chess, so sometimes the clocks are wrong. It's been that way for years, and it'll always be that way. Where are they playing? In Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. All right, Dina's about to move. I thought she tricked me. She has alligator blood. Check, check, check. And she did play knight f3. Attacking the pawn on e5, stopping rook to d2. So black can finally develop his rook with rook e8, defending his pawn, or he can play e4, giving white the d4 square for her knight, giving himself the d3 square for his knight. Yeah, there's a 15-minute delay on the clock, so the players have less time than it says. Especially black, he has a lot less time. Okay, he played knight d3 right away. Super aggressive since his position's not very good. Bishop takes d3. He'll take with the pawn, and he did. Knight has an excellent d2 blockading square, keeping the pawns in check. And she played knight d2. And black's sort of out of counterplay now because the pawns are blocked and weak. It's white's turn to move. White can play rook e6, and the pawn's indefensible on e5. Looks like he played rook e8. Yeah, she'll probably play f3, king f2. And then black has no play at all, and white can just push pawns. F3, king f2 is the simplest. Looks like she already played f3. Make sure the pawns can't go anywhere. No, white doesn't want to play c4. It's still winning, but white wants to keep the blockade here and move the king up and start pushing the king side pawns. It just wants to stop black from getting any play, and which white has already done. Always play f3. Looks like a5, king f2. See if there's any more results. Good technique from Dina so far. Danya's winning. It's like Batista's winning. Ehrenberg's in a lot of trouble. And other games, Carissa Yip won against Donald Johnson. Well, the game ended in checkmate. She checkmated him. That's a good way to win. Fedorowicz is losing. Dogs are barking. Let's see what happened. King b8, or did I miss another move? I did because rook e4 is there. Let's see. What did I miss? I see white played rook e4, rook g4, and black played king b8. But black must. Oh, black played rook c5, I think. Oh, it must have been king b8, rook e4, rook c5, rook g4, and then b4. And then she played c4, keeping the position closed. You don't want to take on b4, let the black rook go to c2. Yeah, Dina's very comfortable here, very confident. And then what did he do? Rook's on a dark square, so he must have played rook f8. Rosen is not playing, no. Dina's probably going to play king e3 here, getting out of the pin and advancing her king. Yeah, Dina's done a good job shutting down her opponent's counterplay. Yeah, and she played king e3 as expected. Looks like he played rook d8, defending his pawn. The black has no counterplay here. Black can't do anything. White's just up 2 pawns and is a better king. Well, she must have made a move. Rook g7. Now, White's threatening rook b6, where double rooks is also good. When black can resign, black can't do anything. Black's just losing. White can just push her h pawn. There's no counterplay for black. It's hard to resign sometimes when you have a minute on your clock. You're like trying to move. You're not thinking about resigning. You're thinking about not losing on time. Let's see. What did he do? Looks like he played e4, confusing the audience. Okay, 3 pawns up. The life position's gone crazy. It's a good thing we're ignoring that. Looks like he played rook e5. Is it rook b6, like the game's over? After rook b6, I'll resign. If she plays rook b6. Okay, now he'll resign. All right, good game. Good job, Dina. Good technique. Time to resign. Resigns is the only move. The engine says so. Nice game by Dina. Good technique. Good piece sacrifice on g6. And she put pressure on her opponent the whole game, and it was hard to take. Always attacking. He's resigning. And Dina wins. Go, Dina, but stay there. So perhaps Dina's going to go to her hotel room and log into Zoom and talk to us about the game. Perhaps. Unless she's too tired. Let's see if any other games ended in the last 10 minutes. To recap, Carissa Yip won. Laura Diabati won. Xin Chao Zhou won. Yasser Quesada Perez won. Bortnik won. Let's see. Naroditsky's winning. Ehrenberg is still in trouble. That could be a big upset if Ehrenberg loses. Let's see. Then Becerra Drew, a 2160. Sean Senft. Fedorowicz is completely losing. But he has a big time advantage, 22 minutes to 2. So Fedorowicz is still in it with the time situation. Nice clean win from Dina. It was a relatively easy win, but she kept putting pressure on her opponent, and eventually he crumbled. Chess.com says that Danya is losing, but he's winning. The evaluation thing is just wrong. Now it changed to being correct. Bruzon won on board 2. So the top 6 boards, the GMs won on 4 of them, and Naroditsky is going to win. And Ehrenberg may lose or draw his game. He has a much worse position against an FM. So we could see some upsets, just we haven't seen them yet. back to the beginning so we can look at the game with Dina. Hope you guys enjoyed the analysis and the games, and go Dina. Maybe she'll do like a Magnus and go 9-0. 50-50. If Cancy ever wins, it's an upset. That's correct. Dina's coming up to her room and she has to get her computer on and working, so forth. And then she'll discuss the game with us if things work. Dina did win. Dina and Danya, and pray for rain. Hopefully we'll have some more analysis when Dina shows up. Probably she's taking selfies and signing autographs. She can't get to the room. People are hounding her, etc. Spawn insane. That's right. Very good, Dankel. Spawn in Spain, insane, and pray for rain. Somebody got the joke. Amazing.
Hello.
It's Dina. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Almost there.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
Good game.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was so tempted to sacrifice way earlier, but I just couldn't find the right way. I don't know if you saw any correct way to sacrifice earlier.
Let's see. Now Dina and I are in the same window. There we go.
Maybe on yeah, on h6, like instead of playing bishop d2, just bishop h6.
Yeah. So bishop h6 is interesting. The engine doesn't think it gives you winning position. Like even here, before bishop d2, it just thinks you're slightly better.
Okay, so there was nothing precise whatsoever,
Yeah,
right?
after this, it doesn't. No, you played fine. There were some mistakes later, but they were minor. I think queen c1 is probably a mistake because after bishop f8, you can't really get anything over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about like I think he made a mistake knight d5 instead of knight d5 he just goes knight d3, and I think it's a nice advantage for him.
Which position? I'm making moves on the board, but they're not showing up on the thing for some reason. Where's our producer?
Yeah, should be there. Yes, so remember when he played knight d5 and I just go rook g3? He cannot take on e5.
Oh yeah, knight d5 was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, knight d5 was a losing move actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
knight
expecting
d3 is good. Right. Yeah.
And didn't know what to do after that.
Yeah, we were talking about during the game at some point moving your queen back to D1 and trying to go to G4.
Yes, I was thinking about this is actually what I would have played perhaps on knight d3. Either I would like either queen d3 or oh sorry, either bishop d3 and queen d1 or immediately queen d1.
The engine actually wants him to play king h8, but I was telling the audience he's not going to play king h8.
No, never, never, never.
Yeah.
But before we jump right here, like, so you were saying bishop h6 like from the very first way, like wasn't there anything concrete whatsoever?
No, it doesn't like bishop h6, but of course in a tournament game maybe it would work out. It wants you to play knight d4 after the sacrifice. I'm not sure if you were intending on like queen d2 or something.
Yes. Give me a sec, just. Yeah, should be there. So yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, bishop h6, gh, the engine doesn't like white's position.
Bishop. Oh yeah. And queen d2 or queen c1? It's just.
Yeah, then just king g7 because your knight's not on g3 yet.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And knight g3, bishop g5, so I don't have anything. But
Right,
another way
or
I
rook
was
h8.
thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, another way exactly. So that I saw. So I maybe if I play immediate knight g3 from the beginning, but on knight g3, then he can play knight c5. So I thought if I force him, like if I provoke him to play queen c7, it's good for me because it deviates the queen from the defending king.
Right. Yeah, I think after rook d8, you should just play queen e2. Because then your e pawn's defended more, your rook can get out, and you can keep attacking.
Yeah, that's correct. And
but there was a lot of
later on-
interesting stuff later.
Yeah, let's go then. Let's go for the further. Yeah, I for sure. So he made this mistake, and then there were so many different ways to sacrifice, but I just couldn't see a clear way. So I thought whatever I came up with was kind of
Knight d4
simplified.
is the engine move. Knight d4 was good. Knight
Yeah.
c5 is good. And yeah, his knight d5 is just a blunder. It actually prefers black's position before knight d5.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, but after knight d3, right?
Yeah, knight d3 is a good move. King h8, which I didn't think was going to be played. Knight d3 I thought might be played. I was expecting knight d3. Yeah. After rook g3, you're winning, and then you weren't winning later because there's some complications. It's funny,
So,
after g6,
yeah.
I was making all these moves for white, and it was like, no, 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 no. Then I turned the engine on, and it's a move that I wouldn't play, and it's winning for you. After g6, just play knight f3.
It's a logical move. I was thinking about how could I protect e5 pawn and keep all the threats, and I think knight f3 was my candidate for this exact reason, but I just didn't know what I would play after king h7, and I thought like it was way too, like, it's winning. I mean, maybe I can just play, I don't know, whatever, like rook h3, king h7, rook h3.
Yeah, probably rook h3 looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes, like when I'm in the game, I'm just a bit too stressed and I don't have enough patience for moves like that, even though I was clearly like telling myself, in such positions, very often winning move is a slow move.
Yeah, after bishop h6, queen e5, he's okay. And in this position, it wants you to sack on g6. And I was analyzing it, and it was totally nuts. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't clear at all to me. I wouldn't do it in a tournament game. I wouldn't play bishop takes g6.
Exactly. It's a kind of a move that makes too much responsibility, right? You don't want to give any counterplay to the opponent.
You got to force the issue, yeah. After bishop f8, king f8, it wants you to play knight f3. You thought a long time here.
Yeah.
And you played rook g5, which is okay.
I took on, yeah.
Queen h8 was correct. And after knight f4, he blundered again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should play e5, and it says black is slightly better.
For e5, I was thinking just maybe just take on g6, no? But it's not clear.
F takes
Oh,
g6. I mean, your knight's hanging on d4.
true. What was I expecting here? I didn't fear of e5, but yeah, maybe I was way too optimistic.
Yeah, and you played brilliant move after queen f6. Knight takes g6 check is
Well,
winning.
this was my idea. Like I mean, when I played rook g5, this exact line was what I was planning to do.
Right.
So if I play rook g5, it's to play knight f4, queen f6, knight g6.
Yeah, this is just winning. And in fact, when he played queen f4 going into the lost ending, that's actually the best move.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if he plays queen e5, that's the other best move. It just wants you to play slowly. Queen d2 and rook e1.
Oh, I was planning on queen h6, to be
Right,
honest.
queen
And
h6
then,
looks more like a human move.
yeah, king e7, and here I was going to do something like, yeah, maybe
Yeah, this the engine says is equal.
oh, this is crazy. Oh wait, isn't
Because
there
queen
here?
d2, you get rook e1 in. You can't play rook e1 otherwise.
Wow, that's crazy. It looked like so many checks, but yeah, I see that the king actually escapes.
Yeah. Yeah, then your
Yeah,
technique was fine. Like he didn't have any counterplay. So the rest of the game was just you winning.
yeah, I liked the knight f3, like because
Right. Yeah, I was saying knight f3. You could have played it earlier too. And then I said knight d2, f3, king f2, and you played all those moves.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, I wanted to do positional because like I was tempted by the line knight e6 instead of knight e3, but then I just get the rook endgame. Even if I have two pawns up and pass pawns, his rook is on the second rank and it's very annoying.
Yeah, knight f3 stops rook d2, so it seems like it's the safest.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't let any counterplay.
Yeah. Well, interesting. So you're saying I didn't miss any big sacrifice
No, you didn't.
opportunities.
You didn't miss any sacrifice that was winning, and your technique was really good at like the last 15 moves.
Nice.
Yeah, I said you're going to play rook b6 and he's going to resign, and then you played rook b6 and he resigned. So that was good.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm pretty happy with that because I just stepped out of a 17-hour plane and
Yeah.
24 hours ago I just finished my second game of the day. So like yesterday, like a bit more. I played 2 classical games, then 17 hours travel, and now again classical games. So
The life of a chess player.
Yeah, for a game after a travel like that, I think it's pretty nice.
Yeah, very good.
But to be honest, at the beginning it felt like super one-sided because of the way how badly he played the opening. Like I just got all the like dream plans, but somehow it wasn't just like there wasn't anything concrete. So I was a bit puzzled. Like,
yeah, the engine thought e5 was too early on move
really?
11. Yeah, you just play bishop c2.
Oh, interesting. But bishop c2, I was worried he would play e5, and then I would get Spanish, but it would be completely different direction. Like,
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
engine doesn't give
good,
you an
right?
advantage in this position, the position you like so much.
Yeah, I just thought that practically the position where I get with more space and attacking ideas will be more unpleasant for black than
Yeah, I didn't care what the engine said. It looked like you were attacking and he was defending, and that was going to work out well for you.
Yes, no, he did feel uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. How did it go for you? How was the streaming?
Yeah, that was good. Everything worked out well. Yeah.
Nice.
The crowd seemed to like it. I was on Chess TV on my stream, so we had a lot of people watching on both.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, I see you're here. And did Karen help you out?
Yeah, Karen came on for about an hour. We were looking at stuff. So she was good.
Oh, so cool. Well, listen, it's been soon to be 4 hours. So if we covered everything, I don't see a reason to hold you for too long.
Yeah, and get some sleep. You need sleep.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna
All right,
get
congratulations.
that one.
Great game.
Thank you so much. So then I got the morning round tomorrow for those who are watching who are planning to watch. We're gonna have Tosh Queen and another guest. And Ben, are we expecting you tomorrow afternoon?
Yep, definitely.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
All
thank
right,
you
good luck
once
tomorrow,
again.
Dina.
Yes, it's been an honor and a pleasure. And let's see where we are rating. Ben,
No,
would you
I'm
like to
good.
continue streaming?
Oh, no. Yep.
Right, then I guess. Oh, Kanti is streaming. Yeah, let's rate Kanti because Kanti is playing in the tournaments here.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't stream, but I guess he makes a recap of his game or. Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Nice.
All right, good night to the chats. See you guys tomorrow afternoon, night.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Do I have to do anything or we're all set? Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Mhm.